Hey everybody, in today's video we are going to make hamsters, die cut layering hamsters that are so cute, and I'm going to show you how to put them together. They're very simple, just a couple of pieces, but I want you to know that they also come with like a little ball like I had for my hamsters when I was a kid. There's a big habit trail as part of this series. It's all so darn cute. There's nothing cuter than a hamster. My cats are out of the room, so I can say that. But you know what makes a hamster even cuter? Bright colors. So we are going to do two complementary colored hamsters, a lime green hamster and a pink hamster. And I was inspired. Oh, I restuck my mat. Stay tuned for a video on how to do that. I washed it and then re-stickied it. But I was inspired for this card by this adorable sheet of postage stamps that has all these crazy looking little critters. Like they look like they might need to be institutionalized. I'm not going to lie. However, they're very cute. It's a bunch of different animals and they have like this crazy expression on their face. And when I saw it, I was actually searching for a cat toy and I saw this sheet of stamps and they're discontinued. They're like from the 90s, but the design with the colorful square backgrounds or rectangular backgrounds was so cute. I was like, I'm going to do that with my hamsters. So these are postage inspired. I will put the image of the inspiration for this on my blog so you can see it. But that is why I have colorful hamsters. Now I have two different colors of cardstock for each of these hamsters, but I didn't have cardstock that was a pale enough pink and a pale enough green for the bottom layer of the hamster, so I had to fill that in with markers. So that's what you see me doing here. So if you want to do the whole thing with markers, just cut everything out of white cardstock and then color your layers however you want to color them. But I saved a little bit of time by just matching up two different shades of pink cardstock and two different shades of green cardstock. So you can see that there's a base layer and then two detailed layers for each hamster. So the bottom layer will be, well, it can be whatever you want, but for me, it's the lightest layer, and then a medium layer, and then a dark layer. Now, if you use tape to hold down your pieces like I did here, you'll see me peeling that off. You really want to do that because that Post-it tape will eventually separate. And you want to make sure that your cardstock is glued together so these little hamsters last forever. So be sure if there's, I wrapped my tape around and so there was a little bit stuck on the back, so just take that off. Now I'm putting a little dot of glue directly onto the hamster itself before picking up and putting the eye on. This is what I always do with the eyes. It keeps me from fiddling with small pieces. It's a much easier way to do it. So I highly recommend that. Put the glue down. Just drop the little eye with your pickup tool into the little puddle of glue and you'll be good. Now, the earpieces, I had initially done them in black, but I feel like they're too dark. So I'm going to color those with markers. I'm not going to put that black ear on there. It just looks weird. It doesn't look like the rest of the hamster. Now I will put together the green one. These are so cute and they line up. You'll be able to very easily see where they line up along the outside edges of the shape. It's super duper easy. So I'm going to color this other little eye and just kind of move that off the sticky a little bit so it's ready to pick up. And here you can see what I'm talking about where I had the Post-it tape on the back of that layer. So peel that off. So I will put this top little layer on. This one's really cute. It almost looks like it's like a little ice cream sundae of a hamster. So cute. And then I'll put the little dot of glue. We'll grab the eye. And then I will cut two more of the ears since I am not going to go with black. And I'll You can cut them out of cardstock. You can just use the same color of cardstock, or you can use markers. I'm adding a white gel pen dot to their eyes. I think this makes all the difference on these little eyes. Just a little highlight. It's very cute. And then I have the earpieces. So again, they're smaller pieces. So I put the glue down, and then I'm putting like just a little darker green ear. These die cuts have debossed areas, so you can see where the shading is supposed to go. And I'm going to come back at the end, and I'm going to put even a darker color in there for a little more contrast for the inside of the ear. But here I'm just picking two markers that are very close in color to the cardstock that I picked. And I'm putting a little bit of gray shading on this ear for the inside part, the deboss part that I was talking about. However, it's not dark enough, so you'll see me change my mind at the end and go just a little bit darker, just to give that ear a little bit of dimension. Now, like I said, I restuck my mat, so it's actually pretty sticky. So what you want to do is bend the mat away from the die cut when you've just first restuck your mat, so that you can pull that off and not tear your little mat. But it's great when it's just sticky like new again. So much fun. Okay, so here are the little postage style squares. I did not use a postage die here. I just wanted these to be very blocky because the hamsters are so soft and round that I just wanted a rectangle in the background. I thought it would be too busy to have any other kind of shape. So what I'm going to do is put on that little blue square, I will be using the sentiment, but you could also just cut a black and white hamster, which would be adorable, and put that on the blue one if you wanted 3 hamsters. But I'm just going to balance these two with a sentiment, since their complementary colors are what I'm going to put the square on. So I'm going to put the green square will have the pink hamster, and the pink square will have the green hamster, and then that kind of leaves the blue one for the sentiment. So it just balances the card overall with color, with shapes, with the magical number 3 that you always want to try to have on your cards. So it just works. So now I will glue the little hamsters onto their pieces, and I did measure the long skinny hamster. I measured him first so that I would know what the smallest I could go in terms of the rectangle would be, and still have a little frame around the skinny hamster. So here's where you can see that I decide the inside of the ear needs a little shading and dimension. So I'm just coming in with just slightly darker green and pink markers. And I do think this makes a big difference. It makes their ears look a lot more dimensional, and they're just so cute. So here's the finished card. Head over to my blog for the inspiration piece, and thanks so much for watching.